Gradually, Hibernate has become a full-fledged Java persistence framework. So it's not only an OR mapping framework now, but it does provide other features such as connection pooling, transaction management, validations, caching, concurrency, multi-tenancy, and a lot of other functional and non-functional requirements related to persistence. OR mapping was just one part of it, but now Hibernate is a full-fledged persistence framework. And this being a getting started session, again, I'm not going to get into how Hibernate provides the advanced features like concurrency, multi-tenancy, and caching, etc. Yes, this point just shows that it is something more than just a object relational mapping framework. Anu, I'll park this question for the end of the session because it's not in the context of the current slide. How will this Hibernate change with in-memory computing coming in? Will it have any effect? So I'm sure you're meaning you're pointing to the cloud environment and cloud computing as such. So we'll park this question for the end of the session. Okay. Now lots of questions coming in. Request you guys to post questions which are contextual. So if there's something which you've not understood for a given slide, or you've not understood in the current context of the session, I'll be happy to answer them while giving the session. But general questions like like which company wrote the Hibernate framework, is Hibernate slower than pure JDBC, etc. So general questions, I think we can park them or request you to ask them towards the end of the session. Yeah. Okay. So now that we know what Hibernate is from a definition point of view, it's a persistence framework. Let's see why. Let's take scenarios to see why you would need to use Hibernate. Actually, I don't know if a poll is possible online, but it would have been interesting to know how many people are very new to persistence frameworks and how many people attending here are already using a framework like Hibernate, but I'm not sure if that such a poll is possible online. Okay. So obviously, I think I've already answered the question as to why use Hibernate. We had gone through a certain number of pain areas which developers face in writing plain JDBC code, and we also went through a list of features which Hibernate provides as a framework. Now, if you take those 2 points into consideration, it automatically answers the question as to why use Hibernate. Okay, obviously to reduce your pain areas, and also to and it also provides you certain non-functional requirements or implementations of non-functional requirements that you would otherwise have to code for. But yeah, I found while I was creating this presentation, I found a blog which listed out 10 reasons for using an ORM framework. We'll quickly go through those points to see what the blogger has in his mind. And while going through these points, the most important point to be kept in mind is that whenever we are talking about the reasons for using an ORM framework, you should always keep in mind that it's the main reason is the configuration based implementation. So all frameworks, persistence frameworks, OR mapping frameworks, they give you configuration files. So without writing a lot of code, they provide you the non-functional requirements or functional requirement implementation that you would otherwise end up coding in your application, and that would remove your focus from the business logic to coding all the non-functional requirements, which is the most painful area. So just one point to be kept in mind, that yeah, all the 10 reasons which we'll see soon, the reasons they become reasons for using Hibernate because they are all configurable. Okay, they are not just conceptual, but you can actually configure all of those requirements in frameworks like Hibernate. And how to do that in Hibernate we'll obviously cover in the subsequent slides. I'll just give a moment till this reflects on your screens. Is Hibernate, yeah, someone asked a question, is Hibernate slower than pure JDBC while generating lots of SQL statements in runtime? Well, if you go from a pure measurement point of view, I believe frameworks would introduce some amount of performance hit, obviously, due to the generic nature. However, the way Hibernate has evolved and the caching mechanisms which it's using, very large enterprise applications are using Hibernate as a data access framework, and even mission critical, time critical applications are using Hibernate. So if you go by case studies, there has not been a very you can say huge amount of complaints from a performance point of view. But when you look at web applications, my view is that when you look at web applications, the network latency is already to some level, and when you compare the performance, the difference in performance numbers in plain JDBC against Hibernate, even if Hibernate was a bit slower than plain JDBC, it would be negligible from an overall HTTP request processing time point of view. That's my view. I mean, of course, other people might have other views on this. Okay, so these are the 10 points which you see on your screen. I've just it's an excerpt from one of the blogs which I came through. The first and foremost reason it states for using an OR mapping tool is that you can follow the domain model pattern. Okay, now a domain model pattern is it's basically a way of designing your application. You can say up to quite recently, the general way of developing or designing an application has been to design the database first. Check your business requirements. Depending on your business requirements, identify the database tables, the relationships, etc., and then go to the object model based on your database. But now, because the data itself is now undergoing lots of change, when you go to the cloud computing fundamentals, and you go to very huge terabyte of data processing, where you look at social networking sites which have huge amount of data, Facebook, Twitter, all the social networking sites. They have had to move away from relational databases, and they have now you can say they have flat file databases stored in JSON formats. So the format of storing data has now changed quite a lot, and because of that, people are now moving towards a domain model driven design rather than a database driven design. So you first design your object model to suit your business requirements, and not worry about what database you're going to use and how you're going to structure the database and stuff. So when you want to abstract certain things, either you want to abstract your object model, or you want to design your object model separately and a data model separately, you need an OR mapping tool to be able to map, because if your database is being designed separately, you might not have a one-to-one mapping of each database column with each attribute in your object model. So when you have these kinds of design constraints, or you're following this kind of a model or a pattern, you would then go for OR mapping tools would help you synchronize between your database or logical business model and physical storage model. So that was quoted as one of the primary reasons. Another reason would be a huge reduction in code, which we will now see in the subsequent slides. Why Hibernate, while using an OR mapping tool, you're writing your number of lines of code reduce. Changes to the object model are made in one place. Once you update your object definition, the ORM will automatically use the updated structure. I was speaking about this earlier, where I said when you have to change your design, say you want to add a new attribute to an entity. If you're using OR mapping tools, where most of the things are driven by configuration, there's minimal code change which you'll have to do when you're doing stuff like adding columns to your database tables, etc. Rich query capability. ORM tools or ORM frameworks or persistence frameworks are also responsible for dynamically generating SQL statements, which we'll see in our subsequent slides. So the advantage is that you don't have to worry about which database you're using. As long as your object model fits your business requirements and you configure your persistence framework in a manner which is appropriate to you, the framework would auto-generate queries depending on which database you ask it to. So you may have MySQL, you might have SQL Server, you might have Oracle. The persistent framework is built or are built such that they know about how to generate database specific queries or queries which would be optimized depending on the target database. So those are one of the reasons or one of the functionalities which these frameworks provide. The rest of the I think points here are, of course, they are valid points, but not in the context of this session they would be too advanced to discuss right now. So I'll leave it at that. And so if you can see the data loads are configurable. It talks about parent-child relationships getting handled without too much code. Concurrency support, cache management, transaction management, etc. So we'll leave these to some advanced topics of Hibernate when we get to that. But yeah, so this was one of the blogs which I found interesting, and hence just displayed an excerpt of that. So this is a